Hello, everyone. My name is Wolfman Mozzie, and welcome to my little slice of the internet. Today, we're playing Vermintide 2 as part of celebration for the Warhammer Skull Festival, which is a celebration of all Warhammer games. A lot of Warhammer games are on sale because of that on Steam, so I figured why not partake in the celebration and playing some of my favorite Warhammer games. The festival and sales last up until June 8th. So if you are interested in Vermintide 2, or if any other Warhammer games catch your fancy, go ahead and take a look. For example, Vermintide 2 is 80% off its normal price, so it's $6 right now. So a perfect time to go ahead and check it out if you're interested. Today, we are going to go ahead and play as the newest subclass, or newest hero they've added, the Warrior Priest of Sigmar, which is a subclass of Victor. There are 5 playable heroes in this game, and each hero has some subclasses. Most of them have 4, but Sienna only has 3. When the game launched, all of them had 3, and the 4th were added individually in separate DLCs, Victor being the newest with his Warrior Priest subclass. I'll go over the other heroes at the end of the video. I kind of want to go ahead and jump into the gameplay as soon as possible, but we're going to go ahead and go over the Warrior Priest's abilities just real quick. And I'm going to summarize them for the most part. His passive is Righteous Fury. As enemies die around Victor, his Fury meter builds. When he's outside of combat, it diminishes. When he hits 100% of that Fury meter, he goes into Righteous Fury, which all of his melee attacks deal an additional smite damage. So he'll hit someone, and then after a second or so, they'll be smited with 20% of the weapon damage, so it does bonus damage. His ultimate ability is Shield of Faith, which throws a shield on him or an ally for 5 seconds, and they're immune to all damage during that time. When the shield expires, whoever is targeted with the ultimate ability will explode with radiant damage. His passive perks are he gets bonus damage to Chaos, Warriors, and Beastmen. He is incorruptible, so he is resistant to curses, and any damage dealt to him is reduced by 20%, and 20% more of that damage is staggered over 3 seconds. So he's a pretty tanky class. For this run, I'm going to be using his hammer and tome and the great hammer. He uses nothing but hammers, so it's going to be whacking time. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the run. And I'll go a little bit more over the gameplay and the mechanics as we go through our run.
Are nothing but cowards and blackguards. Why else would they waste their hell-spawned might on defenseless farmers? Fuego Narcissus insists we intervene. And though it troubles me greatly that this is so, I find myself in complete agreement.
Alrighty. Oh, it's raining. Nice. The weather actually changes on the maps. It's randomized. Sometimes it's bright day, sometimes it's raining. I don't think it's night ever, unless it is a night-specific map, but it can be like dusk and dawn. So, the main objective of the game is to reach the safe point. There is story and lore in the game. Ooh. Oh, Beastman, nice. Very cool. Yeah, so you're fighting against evil hordes to get to a safe point. Or sometimes there's bonus objectives. This one is just reach the mill. There's 3 different races of enemies in this game. These are the newest ones. They're Beastmen. They're a chaos faction or race. Whoa, they have archers. Please no. The other 2 are Skaven, which are rat people, and then there's the Chaos, which are humans that have been corrupted by chaos, evil entities, or evil gods. And there's different types of evil gods. There's a whole very deep, in-depth lore. There is a special enemy. There he is. The most satisfying part of this game, other than the teamwork and just the overall challenge, is the combat. The melee combat is so satisfying. I don't know of any other game that does it quite as good as Vermintide. There's another assassin rat. I don't have any ranged weapons, so I can't really deal with them. Not as efficiently, so I have to wait for the AI to take care of them. Unless they come in close, and then I can just whack them. I don't open doors, I just whack them. So, get out of here. There's also some very unique synergy with a lot of the weapons in this game. This specific weapon, the hammer and tome, are exclusive to the War Priest. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with it, specifically its charge ability. If you charge up the melee, it charges the tome, and when you release it, it does a charge melee that smites the target as well. You can also hold the middle mouse to charge up the tome independently, and then you can release the heavy attack whenever you want just by holding left click. Saying that golden flash was the smite damage. They're just jumping over the wall for us. Appreciate it. Uh-oh, that's a Blight Wizard. Not good. Okay. Now, other than the objective of reaching the safe house or whatever bonus objective is in the map, because sometimes you have to destroy, like, one of the missions you have to destroy a giant Skaven bell. That's a summoning bell, I believe. This, like I said, this level doesn't have that. But the other objective is just get loot. Based off of how your performance is in the run. Not like how many kills you have, but how many of you and your teammates survive the encounter. You'll get bonuses to your end reward. But also, in gathering items, like that one right there. Here, I'll point it back so you can see it. It's a tome. This will give you a bonus to the loot that you get from the end of the run if you complete it while holding the tome. Now, there are drawbacks. The tome takes the spot of a healing item, so you won't be able to carry a potion with you. Are you gonna... I'm here. Whoa. Oh, Blight Wizard. Someone's a toxic tornado. Oh, more Beastmen. And a lot of the map, the layout isn't random. Like, you'll go down this path every single time, but the enemy types are random. When the special enemies show up, it's random. So there is a lot of randomness to the run that keeps the run fresh and keeps the game exciting. And fighting the 3 different races also kind of adds their own flavor. Because even though we're not running into normal Skaven enemies, we're still seeing the special Skaven enemies, like the assassin rat that we saw at the beginning. Right now our hammer is glowing gold. We've actually procced the Righteous Fury, so now we're smiting on every melee attack. But to get back to the tomes, it takes the spot of your healing item. You can, like, say, pick up a healing item off the ground and then just use it real quick and then pick the tome back up. That's perfectly fine. But when you end the run, you need to have the tome in your inventory. You need to be holding it. Great Hammer is so good. It's just so chunky. Another thing that I find really interesting and fun is the different weapons, because they each have their own flavor, their own uniqueness. Their attack patterns are going to be vastly different from a greatsword, for example. And the fact that the hammer does blunt damage, it's very effective against shields and armored enemies, where swords are slashing and piercing, and they won't be effective against a shield. So they each have their own place, and both are fun. That is Chaos Knight. He is a beefy boy. Well, he was a beefy boy. There's another one. And he's gone too. Lovely. Oh, here we go. See, I can just pick up the healing item, use it real quick. Who just took my tome? You took my tome. Alright, well, the bots can carry tomes, so you can actually get more than one. There's 3 total in a level, and if you get all 3, you get bonuses. The more tomes you get, the more bonus you get, essentially. Get out of here. That's another Blight Wizard. Sound is a huge part in the game. If a special enemy appears or is near you, it will make an audio cue, much like Left 4 Dead. So paying attention and listening is actually quite important. Righteous Fury, let's go! And the individual subclasses are very unique, so that also adds a lot of... Okay. I'm gonna pick... Oh, actually, no. I need to... Okay. Let's say I need to tell one of the bots to pick it up. Oh, no, I still need... I don't remember how to do that, though. I need to not have enemies near me while I'm trying to figure this out. Actually, I'm just gonna do this. Make myself immune. Oh, okay. Yeah. There's one more item that you can find in a run to increase your loot, and we're coming up to one right now, so I'll show you. It's called a Grimoire. Those are a little bit more spicy. All right then. Yeah, Grimoire is a little bit harder to find. It's not that they change locations, but you usually have to do something extra to access it. I'll show you what I mean in here. It's in this house, or behind it technically. All right. Gross. All right, so you need to take this explosive barrel, toss it in that hole. Kaboom! It opens the access to the backyard. Now, oh, this is a an ammo restock. These can be infinitely used, but I can't interact with it because I don't have a ranged weapon. Some classes don't have ranged weapons. So the thing about Grimoires, like I said earlier, it gives you bonus loot, and it takes a slot of your potions, so you can't carry any potions. If you drop the Grimoire, it is destroyed. You cannot pick it back up. So that's one difference it has with the tome. Say, I know you're out here somewhere. Dead? The other difference is it lowers the max health of all your party members, yourself included. Now, it doesn't lower the health of the priest, the battle priest, our character, because we are immune to curses. When you pick up a Grimoire, it technically curses you, and that's what lowers your max HP. But him being immune to curses, we get all of our glorious health. Now, the other thing, I swear, when you're playing with AI, when you pick up a Grimoire, I don't know what it is, they stop being good teammates. Not that they're good teammates to begin with, but they seem to die much easier. Now, granted, they have lower max HP, but if you noticed before we picked up that Grimoire, they weren't taking like any damage. Even now, they have pretty good health, but I swear, they're gonna start taking a lot more damage. I think it's by design. Like, the game knows, okay, you know about Grimoires, so we're gonna make the game a little bit harder for you. Ideally, you don't want to play this game with AI. You can, you absolutely can. If you prefer not to play online or not to play with other people, you absolutely can. And you can do pretty well. But if you want to do the harder levels, or some even the harder difficulties, you need to either play with friends or just play online, just matchmake online. It's very easy to do. Everyone seems to be pretty chill. This is a Blight Troll. These guys are nasty. Can be pretty nasty because they regenerate health. They also spit out Blight, which is just toxic damage. It's just really annoying. That's a warp fire thrower. Please stop. Yeah, that's the bile. These guys go down pretty fast, yeah. That is a loot die. That will increase our reward as well. There's a lot of things you can do to increase the reward at the end, but yeah, the matchmaking in this game is really easy. The easiest way is the quick play feature, which you just search for a random team, a random map. You can select manually, but I'm picking up, actually I'm going to use this real quick. And I'm going to pick up this tome. Okay. Thought we only had one for a second, which means the bot dropped it somewhere, but no, he still has it. You actually get a bonus to your experience if you do quick play. Just for doing quick play, you get a bonus, which is great. So they really try and encourage people to play with other people. With people. Bonk. That's an assassin rat. It's kind of like a hunter from Left 4 Dead. They just jump on you. Start stabbing you. They can jump really far. See? That's a warp fire thrower. He has a plague flamethrower, and he throws those poison bombs. There's a lot of different special enemies. Whoa. Ow. Ow. He knocked me over. Okay, there's one more tome we can get. That is a horde incoming, so let's hunker down for that first. There they are. Now, one really cool thing about my ultimate ability, the Warrior Priest ultimate ability, it can be used on allies, so you can shield allies. I also have a upgrade that I can use it at range, and I can I'm sorry. By default, you can use it at range, but I have the upgrade that it heals it heals the target and also revives them. So if an ally goes down, I can just pop my ult real fast and revive them from well, not any range, but from range, a distant range. Otherwise, you have to go over to them, interact with them, and it takes a while to revive. There's another assassin rat. Here he is. Also a blight wizard somewhere behind us. Never mind, she got him. Such a fun game, though. This is a game... Alright, let me tell someone else to pick it up. Barden. Cool. This is a game, in my opinion, that's very easy to jump into. It's easily accessible, but it is hard to master. Those harder difficulties are insanely hard. It goes regular, veteran, champion, legend. No. Yeah, champion, legend, and then there's one more difficulty. Oh, chaos. No. What is the last difficulty? Cataclysm? I don't remember. But there's one more difficulty past legend. And it is insane. I think the highest difficulty I've done and completed, and it was only like once or twice, was legend. I've done champion a few times. Not solo. With friends. Bow, bow. It's so rewarding completing a hard difficulty. I don't need to... Oh, I could heal, actually. Go ahead and heal real quick. That white health, make sure no one leaves behind a tome. We're good. That white health bar that is in front of the green is temporary health. I have abilities that give me temporary health. Okay, this part's a little tricky. This is where AI can die pretty easily. So I'm going to just stay up here with them. And hopefully we can... I'm actually going to use the Great Hammer. Just because there's more crowd control with the Heavy Hammer. Or Great Hammer, excuse me. As you can tell, there's quite a bit of carnage. Get out of here. Fury proc, let's go! Smite. 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 We cleansed heretics. That's a berserker. Those guys are nasty. They don't get interrupted by normal attacks like these guys do, and they attack very quickly. So if they get a hold of you, they will mess you up. Nope. No thank you. This is also just the normal campaign of the game. There are other game modes, mainly Chaos Waste, I think, which adds an element of randomness. There's a map that you go stage by stage, and there's different modifiers for the map. You gain different boons. Like one of them is every time you crit, you a lightning bolt gets chained from you and chains to 3 enemies or something like that. And you can get a lot of other stuff like that that just kind of adds to a run. It can get really powerful, and it kind of turns it almost to a roguelike game to a certain degree, but it's a lot of fun. And it has its own like rewards as well. There's also special modifiers that you can add to missions called the deeds, which will give you bonus rewards. So there's a lot of different stuff to sink your teeth into. Excuse you? And all the heroes are actually a lot of fun. I don't think there's any subclass that I don't like. There's some that I prefer, but each one has its own uniqueness. They've done a really great job. These bots are doing much better than the previous time I ran with bots. Maybe they just updated the AI, because they used to be not that great. Alright, that one's free. So yeah, we have a bonus objective right now. We're freeing prisoners. Ideally, we're trying to get to the end, to the safe house. The safe house is a teleportation crystal at the end of the run that everyone has to jump into, and it teleports you back to the castle, back to the safe house, essentially. So that's what we're going for. But this is a continuous wave of enemies that won't stop. We just have to keep making our way through it, freeing the prisoners, and make it to the end. A lot of maps have that continuous wave of enemies while you're doing this thing, and once you do it, they stop, or you have to get to the end of the map or something like that. But even though it's basic in principle, the developers do a really good job at adding uniqueness to it, whether it be the map or bonus object or other objectives that you're trying to do, like free the prisoners. So it never feels monotonous. Toop, 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 toop. I think that mainly comes from how much they learned from Vermintide 1. Now, granted, Vermintide 1 was a good game, don't get me wrong, but a lot of that... Oh, I just used my ult on one of my heroes, or one of my allies. That's okay. They did a lot of things right in Vermintide 1, but they did a lot of things wrong in Vermintide 1 as well. Well, I don't want to say wrong. They just learned. They were just learning. And they did. They listened to community feedback. They learned from what was maybe poorly designed. Now, granted, if you play Vermintide 1 now, it is different from when it was originally launched. It is much better. I make it sound like Vermintide 1 was not a good game, but that's not the case. It was a very good game. They just improved upon what they learned from the first game and made it even better with the second one, which makes me very excited for their newest game, which comes out in September. It's called Darktide. It's going to be this kind of format, this kind of style, cooperative. I don't know if it's going to be like point A to point B and you're just trying to get to the end. That part I don't know, but it is going to be a cooperative game, but it's based in Warhammer 40k. Vermintide, this game, is based in Warhammer Fantasy. That's why there's like magic, and there's melee weapons like hammers and swords and spears and bows. Warhammer 40k is 40,000 years after this time period, so it's more sci-fi. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this. We're just gonna keep running. Don't worry about that. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna throw an incendiary bomb. There's no friendly fire in this difficulty. All right, let's go. This is the teleportation crystal. So you just hop in, and the run is completed. But yeah, the Darktide is going to be set 40,000 years after this time frame. So it's going to be sci-fi. There's going to be guns. There's going to be laser guns. And so far, it looks really cool. So I'm hoping everything that they learned from Vermintide 1 and 2, they're going to apply to Darktide. I don't see why not. We are so close to leveling up. So this is the reward part. It breaks down all of those. Completed mission, how many tomes we collected, how many grimoires we collected, the dice. I call it Randy's gift, but Randall's gift is just the randomness. Like, it's a random bonus. It can be low, it can be pretty high, and then you get a coffer depending on how much you get from those factors. General coffers, not bad. Not too bad. And then these are just stats. These don't affect your drop, your loot that you get at the end, but it's just stats that you can see. So we got the most kills. We got the most everything except for specials killed, which makes sense because we had no ranged weapons, and range kills because we had no ranged weapons. Yet we got 5 range kills. Riddle me that. And then at the end of the run, you're back at the castle. There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs here at the castle. There's a lot of stuff to customize, like, I think there's one, yeah. These paintings here, which are quite horrific, you unlock based off collectibles and things like that, and you can swap them out for other paintings. Once you complete a run, your rewards, your coffers are going to be here, and you just open it up. It'll give you 3 items. Oh, cool. Unfortunately, it's low power. The max power of an item is 300. Oh, here's a deed. This is something that you can apply to, well, it is a special modifier that's applied to a mission. So it tells you the mission, it tells you the difficulty. The Vanguard and Abduction is the special modifiers of the run, and you get a bonus chest as a reward. But the max level an item is 300 in terms of power. This one is a legendary item, but it is a lower level legendary item, so, and we're not going to keep it. I don't really use the crossbow for that particular subclass, and we can't use it on a knight anyway, so. I'm going to go over just a quick overview of the different heroes in the game. The first hero is Marcus. He is a soldier in the Imperial Guard, I believe. He has 4 different subclasses. I'm not going to go through each one. If you're interested, then go ahead and pick up the game and take a look yourself, but each one has its own specific flavor. For example, the Grail Knight, which is a DLC subclass, has no range abilities. He's all melee, but the Huntsman has ranged abilities. He has a rifle. He can use a bow, a crossbow. Our second character is Barden. He is the dwarf of the group. Every time I get to the next hero, I'm always reminded how much fun I have with each one. Oh, it's hard to say which one's my favorite. The Ironbreaker has here, I'll even show you. The Ironbreaker he's kind of a tank, but he has a weapon that's exclusive to this subclass. It's a flame. Well, actually, I think there's 2 classes that can use it. It is a flamethrower. You can just throw out some puffs of flame, or if you hold it down, it'll charge up, and you just scorch everything. It doesn't use ammo. As you can see at the bottom, it has an overheat meter, and once you get past that line right there, you'll continuously do damage to yourself. We're not dealing damage to ourselves right now because we are in the safe zone, so you hold R to cool it down manually, or it'll cool down over time. If you do hold R to cool it down, you'll deal damage to yourself, so kind of interesting weapon. He also has the Outcast Engineer, which his ultimate ability is a Gatling gun. So yeah, very cool. Our third character is Carillion. She is the elf of the group. She has, you kind of have your standard wood elf with bow and arrow, and she has a backup melee weapon. Ultimate ability, she fires heat-seeking arrows, essentially. But she has melee-focused and also a spellcaster, which is kind of like a druid. It's nature-based magic, which is very interesting and very unique. All the 4 subclasses add quite a bit of flavor to each character. Then we have Victor, the Witch Hunter, which has the Warrior Priest subclass that we just played. But it also has a Bounty Hunter subclass, which is one of my favorites. It's a range-focused class, well, ranged and melee, because he has a rapier that's really good. You just dodge in and out of combat, stabbing things, doing massive damage. His ultimate ability is he fires a flintlock, a supercharged flintlock, deals massive damage. Then our last character is Sienna. She is a fire sorceress who loves throwing fireballs, setting enemies on fire, and if she gets overheated, can blow up. They overheat, like her magic doesn't use ammo, but it overheats kind of like that flamethrower does. But when she reaches her max, she just blows up and causes herself to go down. I don't play a whole lot of Sienna. She's not really my style, but she can be a lot of fun. Throwing out fire tornadoes and fire blasts. Yeah, there you go. So if you overheat, she does that animation and explode. If you're in a mission, she will down herself. It's sometimes very strategic. Like if you're getting overrun and everything looks very bleak, you can pop it, go down, sacrifice yourself to deal massive damage in AoE, and then your teammates can pick you back up. Alrighty, well that is the characters and the heroes and some of the subclasses. Let's go ahead and just look briefly on the crafting system. The weapons are very unique in this game and play a huge part of how your run will go and how your character plays, and finding the right weapon for the right subclass. Some of these weapons are unique to the subclass. Like, for example, the Great Hammer is unique to the Warrior Priest. The Hammer and Tome is unique to the Warrior Priest. Depends on what subclass it depends on what hero you're on to what items you can craft, but you can go ahead and craft an item, you pick the blueprint that you want to craft, and you use the resources to craft it. In order to get these materials, you have to break down items. So let's go ahead and just throw that in there. Wasn't there a lower level? This is, yeah, let's go ahead and just throw that in. So go ahead and break those down. It gives us scrap, some weapon parts, and some dust depending on the rarity of the weapon that I feed in. Alright, so I broke down some items so I have enough to craft a weapon. So let's go ahead and pick something to craft. Let's go ahead and pick a tome. Costs 10 scrap, costs 1 weapon part. Let's go ahead and throw it in the machine. And we got a blue power level 300 tome. Excellent, this is perfect. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is upgrade the item. So let's go ahead and throw that blue tome into the upgrade. It costs 50 scrap, and it will upgrade to the next rarity. So now we got a legendary one, which gets the extra perk. This one's off balance. Blocking an attack increases damage the attacker takes by 20% for 5 seconds. That's not bad. It has increased crit power and plus stamina. That's actually pretty good. That one's actually not bad at all. So if we wanted to, we could re-roll either the properties or the trait. The properties I kind of like on that, but I don't really like the off-balance trait. So let's go ahead. We can use 1 amber dust to re-roll that perk. And we got Opportunist. Increase push strength by 50% when used against an attacking enemy. Let's roll it again. Okay, this one's good. I like this one. Heroic Intervention. Assisting an ally under attack, which means if someone is attacking an ally, so if an enemy's attacking your ally, and you attack that enemy, that is considered assisting. So when that happens, it restores 15 temporary health for both players, yourself and... Alrighty, well that was a look into Vermintide 2. I love this game. I've been playing it ever since it came out. It's currently in the best position it's ever been. because they've just been adding onto a great foundation. And like I said earlier, listening to their community, their newest addition is the Chaos Wastelands, which it's kind of that roguelike mode of the game, and they are adding new content to that here soon, I think in the next couple weeks. So great time to pick up the game and check it out, or great time to pick the game back up if you've already played the game prior and want to check out the new modes. I decided to celebrate the Warhammer Skull Festival in my own way with just going back and playing some of the other Warhammer games that I have. So I'm going to be posting more and other Warhammer games the rest of this week and up until June 8th. Even though I am currently playing Warhammer Chaos Gates Demon Hunters, and I will be posting more videos of that as well. If you want to check out the Warhammer games that are on sale, I definitely recommend going ahead and looking at the Steam Festival page, because there's a lot of gems there that are pretty heavily discounted. But as always, thank you so much for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.